Is ghosting godly? Suddenly, ghosting is suddenly ending all communication with someone, ignoring someone. The worldly view of it is some people bring you bad energy, so you drop them. It's showing lack of concern for someone. We're going to talk about reconciliation. Matthew 5 and 23 and 24. Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, rememberest that thy brother has aught against thee, leaving thy they must leave thy gift and first be reconciled to thy brother. It's neglectful. James 4 and 17. If anyone then knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is a sin for them. We tend to think of my Bible in the part that explains stuff, explains the scripture, says for James 4 and 17. We tend to think of sin as doing what is wrong, but James tells us that the sin is also failing to do what is right. It is a sin to avoid that person when he or she needs your friendship, when he or she needs your friendship. That's exactly what it says. I'm not making this stuff up. It says it right underneath the scripture for James 4 and 17. Some people say it depends on the circumstance. Some people use people and when the person no longer needs you, that could be another sign of ghosting. Is it beneficial if someone ghosts you? Some people say that it can be beneficial if someone ghosts you because you no longer have to deal with that person. So I'm gonna talk about be setting healthy boundaries and what we should do as according to the scripture about ghosting people. Matthew 18:5 and 17. Jesus said, if your brother or sister sins, go and point out their fault, just between the two of you. If they listen to you, you have won them over. But if they will not listen to you, take one or two others along, so that every matter has been established by the testimony of two or three witnesses. If they still refuse to listen to you, tell it to the church. Treat them as a pagan or a tax collector. We are to shun them. That's another form of ghosting, is shunning. Some people have different definitions of ghosting. Some is abruptly ignoring someone, shunning them. So we can talk about that. Ghosting is not a healthy boundary because it is not explaining to the person what they did to you. Creating healthy boundaries without hurting. Proverbs 4 and 23 says, above all things, guard your heart, from everything flows from it. Then 1 Corinthians 13 and 5 says, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy or boast, it is not arrogant or rude. And ghosting can be a form of showing rudeness to a person. So my question is, do you think that ghosting is godly?